Hello, everybody. Welcome back to On the Come Up with KG. And today we have another guest, Norense Odiase, founder and host of My Bully podcast.
Welcome me. Nah, thanks for having me.
Okay, is there anything? Bro, those who do not know you, give yourself a short introduction, who you are, what you do.
Who am I? Well, Norense Odiase, basketball player, professional basketball player. Let me cut and not say that because I hate when people do that. Say, "Oh, I'm this." I'm Norense Odiase, someone who plays basketball and also has a podcast. A podcast, Mind Bully Podcast, focus on overcoming your negative voice. And I'm a guy that just loves life.
Okay, so how long have you been playing basketball?
That's a good question. Well, I started playing basketball in like sixth grade. And when I say sixth grade, playing outside, just playing outside. And my first time actually trying to play for an organized team, seventh grade, I got cut. Eighth grade, I made the C team. Ninth grade, I was on the B team. So it was a grind. It was a journey to get to a professional level. And I'm kind of happy for the steps, but it wasn't all cute.
Okay, so where did you go to college?
Went to Texas Tech University.
And then, so you're from Dallas, went to Texas Tech, and you live in Dallas still.
Yeah, I live Cedar Hill, Texas, Triple D, what we call it. If you're from the Dallas area, you know, that's where the real from.
I'm not from Dallas.
But the real is from Triple D, so
Okay.
Dallas.
And have you ever spent time, like an extended amount of time outside of Dallas?
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so my first year out of Texas Tech's obviously in Lubbock, 5 hours away from Dallas. Then after graduated, whatever, went with the Suns, then the Suns G League in Arizona, Phoenix, and then COVID happened, and I took my black ass to Germany.
Oh, Germany.
Yeah, and I was there for about 10 months, and then I came here, different cities, Detroit, Greensboro, North Carolina, back in Dallas, but. Now, it's been a journey with the game of basketball and just with life. So,
How was your experience in Germany?
that's a great question. Again, tough. And honestly, that's the origin and the story from my podcast because, you know, during COVID, I was here with a team. The year stopped. And I'm thinking, man, like, damn, there's no league at the time. There's no bubble. Like, what am I going to do? I was blessed with the opportunity to go play for, six figures overseas. I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
I get over there. You think it's okay, six figures, three-story house, nice living. Germany, the city I was in, Bamberg, is literally just like this, nice. And it was just tough mentally. I had a coach that borderline racist, like
Oh, okay.
says, "Oh, we don't wear do-rags in Europe," or "Oh, you coming in smiling with glasses on," like just something every single day. All my teammates had wives, so it made me like feel isolated. I couldn't talk to anybody. 9 p.m. curfew now with COVID. So it's just like literally I wake up, open my eyes, I go to the gym, I hear that stuff in Dutch because he's a Dutchman. I hear all this cuss words and things that I don't understand, and then I go home. And I'm a confident guy. I've never been the person to like take on what somebody says. But after a while, when it's just the same talk from the same people, and when you play basketball, morning practice, training, you go back for another workout, you go home, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so it was just living in my head. And I tore my hamstring there. So I was dealing with a lot of different things that made me in a mental space that made it tough. And that's kind of the origin for the podcast is because after that time, I left that team. And I had a month between teams to where it's just like mentally I was going through things dealt with from the past because if I rewind in college, I lost two of my family members. They got hit by an 18-wheeler coming to watch me play.
Oh, wow.
And so I internalized that. And all my life I've been trying to prove, use the game to like be accepted, be significant for something else, for somebody else, my family. And here comes my family watching me play and that happens. So I have that mindset in Germany, okay, I got to prove, I still got to do it for them. I got to do it for my family. And when I'm hurt, one, and two, mentally, I'm in a tough time. It's like I couldn't control anything. So I broke down. And whenever you are faced with a time, whether it's suppress your emotions, which I did all my life, and, surrender, I was in between the two voices. I was struggling. And I think I did surrender, and I surrendered in ways that you wouldn't think. Many would take their life. Many would go down that track. And I did after after I lost my cousin, I thought that way, but I
Mm-hmm.
surrendered back to my faith, and my foundation is Christ, and that's what kind of was always the underlying in my life. But when you get in a situation when it's literally just you, you fall
Right.
back to what you're accustomed to. So, and then I was just like, the way I think, I got to put people like, I'm the one, like, if I learn something, put me on game, like
Yeah.
literally. So I'm like, how can I actually build something, use my voice to like encourage others? My Bully podcast.
Okay. And so when all that stuff was happening in Germany, do you think did that affect your love for the game of basketball at
Hell
all?
yeah. Hell yeah. Let me, pro basketball is not about talent. It's not about talent. And it's like, as a kid, you use this game. It's this creative game. It's a way to express yourself through a sphere, orange ball. Like, that's the game that you grew up and love. When you add money to that, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Everybody, oh, let me impress this coach and this GM and impress. It goes from expressing themselves. And I think anybody watching, listening, maybe even yourself, whether it's a corporate position, you get into these rooms where you got there because of yourself and your qualities, and then you get into these rooms and you're trying to impress, to rank up, impress. It's just
Overperform.
like that, yeah, trying
Yeah.
to perform. Oh God, I can keep going on that, but nah, it's totally different. So the love of the game is kind of like dwindled. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so I know you mentioned that you felt a lot of pressure from a lot of people growing up to keep pursuing your basketball career.
yeah,
And I noticed that that's like a pattern in our community a lot because we're always fed like, okay, the only couple of ways that you're able to make it out is through entertainment or sports. So do you think that plays a lot into it? It's like, this is one of my only ways to actually get out of or make a name for myself type of thing.
yeah. And no, I understand the question, but for me, my situation is kind of different. I'm blessed to have, you know, immigrant parents, Nigerian parents that we have things at the house. I'm a twin. My two older sisters are twins. And when I was my dad's a pharmacist, my mom's a
Wait,
nurse.
two sets of twins?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
My brother he's in med school. But yeah, literally, I have a good foundation. But at the age of 8 through 18, I left my dad left to be in Nigeria. My uncle was the governor of the state in Nigeria, and so he appointed my dad to be pharmacist, the chairman of the board for all the hospitals over there, basically a promotion. And
okay.
so when he tried to come back, his visa got denied for 10 years.
Oh,
So I was
wow.
without my dad for 10 years of my life. And before that, and this kind of the reason I said prove, because before that, from like 6 to 8, I was sexually assaulted by older women in my life. And so because one, my dad's not here. Two, I already feel like insignificant because they did me like that. Because for me, I'm not the only kid that was around. Like the way I think is like, oh damn, they think I'm the sweet one. I guess
Yeah.
like they think I'm the one, and so I already kind of felt insignificant. Then my dad leaves, I already feel that. So it's like, okay, how do I feel like significance? And as I think in childhood, you just try to be accepted. You just want to feel a part of the group. Oh, I picked up this ball. I'm tall. I should be good at this.
Yeah.
And so I just use it to kind of get through life, and I'm proving, not knowing that like the whole reason I started the game is because I remember my family, they was watching the Houston Rockets play. And I could just see the joy behind their eyes watching this game. And I'm just like, damn, I want to be significant. I want to be the person
Yeah.
that gives them that joy. I don't give a damn about the game, really. It's
Yeah.
just like the thing that brings that joy. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to prove. Fast forward, that happened to my cousins. And it just brings me back to a loop of like why I even started and just trying to prove. And I just left that suppressing. I'm not doing that anymore. I'd rather, survive and serve now in the ways that I know how. So
Okay. And so back to the sexual assault thing, we kind of mentioned this on the last episode. We were talking about how I was having a conversation with the guy that I know, and he was saying how he slept with like over 50 women, and he was saying it casually. And to me, it's like, that's crazy. But we
yeah,
started getting into conversations about how the experience of a lot of men, especially what I realized, a lot of black men, is that they are sexually assaulted at a very young age, and it's normalized in our community, and you kind of get brownie points for that. It's like,
yeah.
oh, an older woman wanted me. So do you think that that was kind of that kind of seeped in maybe when you started getting older and started maturing a little bit more?
Yeah, hell yeah. And that's a good question. I've never even thought of it. But just kind of taking a moment. I do think that's a thing. Just talks in the locker rooms and different things and different experiences. I already kind of knew because of what happened. And, a lot of these things are subconscious. They're not consciously brought up, but it's like you're hurt by that and you feel a type of way. So you're jaded. In every other relationship that I've actually ever been in, I never leaned all the way in because I'm guarded and I'm jaded because of what happened. I don't want, to be taken advantage of or to be exposed in that way. So I think, I got a lot of guys and a lot of the internet stuff, they say things and like they use it as like a champion, an armor to walk out, but it's all one to impress their other guy friends that probably went through similar things.
Right.
So it's just like hurt people are trying to encourage other people to hurt. And it's just, it's just a loop. And I think it all comes from, a childhood experience or something that you feel that you lost in that time.
And do you think that taints your relationship with women or the way that you view women in general? Like, do you, because, I was realizing recently, like, so I don't know, this might be, again, controversial, Lord, please. But so I'm kind of familiar. Like, I went down this really deep dive one night about incels, right? And incel culture. And yeah, it seems like this far right idea, like, okay, we hate women. Women are the reason for all of our problems, right? It's like extreme. But I think I see in a lot of mainstream media that those ideologies are kind of seeping into mainstream, where it's like a lot of men have this idea because of social media that a vast majority of women are out to get them or use them. And do you think that kind of like comes from that too?
One, I would just say, I don't know what the hell incel is, but two, to speaking on what you're just saying, I think social media, everything, since we're centralized, what is it, centralization, whatever, I don't know if it's the right word, I don't care, whatever, but it's all based off fear. It's fear driven. It's all, the emotional. Again, what did I just, refer to earlier? A guy, I'm this guy, like just trying to impress. Everybody's hurt people.
Right.
So it's just these hurt opinions on the online that's kind of highlighted. And then that gets over and over and over. That's why I'm glad to be on this podcast, because it's truth. It's actually positive that needs to be highlighted over and over. But I do think when you get people on a platform and things are said, it's like, okay, the guys feel the type of way because, that's not my actual experience, but okay, I'm not going to say that's not the truth. I'm going to just blurt out things. I'm gonna say my pride is gonna take over in this moment. So I think it's a lot of that. But I'm sorry, I don't know what incels is.
Okay, well, incel is just like it's a very tight knit community of men.
Yeah.
And they basically, their whole thing is thriving off of hating women.
Yeah.
You have this whole thing where it's like red pill, blue pill, black pill. I don't know, but basically it's like they think that because they've been unsuccessful in getting women or sleeping with women, it's the woman's fault, and women are doomed. And they feel like, I think what it really derives from is that they start feeling like there's nothing that they can physically, mentally, or spiritually do to get women to accept them. So the easier answer is just women are terrible. Women are bad. We should kill them. Like, it gets that bad. So if you go and look into the history of even like mass murders or serial killers, they derive from that community where it's like this overwhelming hatred of women. And it's like, it's just a crazy thing to think about, because a lot of the times it's like there's always something that you can work on, and that's where it's like there's always a lack of responsibility, or it's like there's always something that you can do to fix your outcome. So even when it's like when you are failing at getting women, or maybe even the right type of woman, the woman that you desire, you have to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Maybe, again, because a lot of these guys are fairly young. So it's like, maybe I need to do better with my hygiene. Maybe I need to get out of my room and stop playing video games for 10 hours straight, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe I need to check my approach with women. Maybe I need to,
right, not to cut you off, but for the kings, I'm a king. My man behind the camera is a king. I would ask you this. It's everybody, I believe, we need the same things: connection, love. You need that. And as a man, if I'm behind the eyes of those guys that say those things, one, we know as a man, your pride takes over. So it's like unpack that. Where does that actually come from? Oh, he feels like he's unlovable. He feels
Right.
shame. Somebody in his past, somebody in, whether it's his dad, his mom, because a lot of the times we think, oh, guys are the ones shaming guys. No, a lot of the times it does come from older women. It does come from women that, or it does come from, if a guy's looking on social media and he hears, oh, a man got to be this, a man got to be that. He's like, damn, like, I'm trying to grow in my life, but I'm not that. All right, let me just say stuff like pride. My pride's gonna take over. So it's a lot of, I think it comes from, again, hurt people, whether on both sides saying things, and it's a battle that can't be won because it's came from a thought that shouldn't be there, a wrong belief. And I think like it all goes back to your values. For me, I judge people off their own values, their own beliefs. And if you believe a certain way, whatever, but like my belief and my values that I care about is courage, the courage to come out and say, to express those type of things over acceptance, over achievement, over any of those. So whenever personally, this is totally different. I ramble all the time. I'm ADD, whatever. But when it comes to my life,
I'm sorry.
literally, when it comes to my life, you could get so, weirded out about expressing yourself.
Yeah.
It goes back to, okay, what are my values? What do I believe that's like actually courageous? Talking, speaking, approaching a woman in any way I know how. That's courageous. I'm going to stick to my value and my beliefs. So again, it's both sides, but
Yeah, I think it's just this whole, like you said, it's a whole battle of now. It's like you said, when you really peel back those layers, what everybody in the world wants is a sense of vulnerability between people, connection, truth, honesty. But at the same token, everybody's so scared of being, excuse me. And the same token, everybody is so scared of being seen.
yeah.
Everybody has a guard up. Nobody wants you to see what they're going through, how they got to where they're going, how they really feel, because it might not be socially acceptable. And everybody has this culture of just like, okay, we're going to pretend that nothing bothers us and that it's cool and that,
Let me ask you this, not to cut you off. What do you, if you think of vulnerability, what comes in your head?
Vulnerability is not only having the space to be who you are and realize who you are and what you come from and why you do the things that you do, but also vulnerability. I think what a lot of people are missing is that you have enough self-awareness that you create the space for other people to do the same thing.
Yeah. No, I like that. And I think that's true. For me, it's like vulnerability is not, a lot of the times as a man, as you think it's weakness. It's emotional exposure, being able to say, oh, I love you first to a girl, or even your boy. I love you. Like,
right.
I've lost family members. I know what it is to lose. Like, I love you. Two, it's, uncertainty. A lot of the times where, oh, I'm uncertain about how to act in this job, this position. Like, if I use my voice in a corporate setting, I don't know how, I might lose my job. Like, that's vulnerable to say, no, I got something that y'all haven't even seen here. Like, y'all hired me for a reason. That's why I'm going to use my voice. And I think it's risk too. Because a lot of times speaking to I think it's easy to connect the two. As a guy, you feel like if you say something or you approach a girl or, you do the first thing, something risky, you're risking, oh, they're going to hurt me. Open yourself up, being vulnerable, sharing something. Oh, it's going to hurt me. It's going to be thrown back at me like, man up, or those type of things. So that's when you close down. And as a man, you're supposed to be tough. You're supposed to be hard. So it's like a lot of those things, like you said, that is vulnerability. And it comes from guys. If they don't see that in somebody else, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. I don't trust you. I'm going to put my guard up.
Yeah, they're not as easy to do it as women are. And also, I think another way of being vulnerable is, like you said, using your voice and speaking out. And also using your voice to say that I don't know.
Yeah.
How about that? Like, I don't know what's going on. Actually, I don't have it all figured out, Like,
but do you want, okay, say you had a man. Do you want your man to come home? I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, like, it doesn't necessarily mean between a relationship between two people.
But no, I know. But I'm asking you, because think about it. That's where a lot of it comes from. A lot of guys, they like, okay, I hear you. But in our relationship, you don't want me to not know. Shit, I got to know. I really got to know.
Well, I can only speak for myself, but I can say I'm okay with an effective communication style. So where if you're like, as a man, you be like, you know what, I don't know her right now, but let's figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
I got you. You know, like you're right. I probably don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. Like, again, a lot of.
Don't tell me you know and you don't know. And now
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
homeless. You know what I mean?
No, I think like again, even on guys and girls, what you want in a friend or a relationship is like somebody trying, not
Yeah,
just shit.
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Like, I don't
Like
shit.
you own it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like I don't know, but let's figure it out.
Right.
That's fair because everybody's trying. We're all out here just figuring shit out.
Yeah.
And if you can again have that vulnerability to be like, you know what, I don't know, but thank you for bringing it to my attention that this is something that we probably do need to figure out.
And I think as a man, just thinking like, bruh, not to go with the me, bro. That's confidence. Nigga, I don't know, but I know who I am.
Exactly.
Shit,
And
I know who I am.
Get this shit done,
Yeah,
you know?
bro. This is what I dealt with. This is what I went through. This is where I'm going. This is how I feel today. But shit, I know the light in me that God gave me. I know who I am. My foundation says who I am. I don't give a damn what social media says. What you think. Shit, what I think in the day. I know who the hell I am. I'm going to walk out this door and be me in every space that I'm in. So I think that's confidence, showing, opening the door up to my life and being like, all right, take me or leave me. And if you don't like me, shit, it ain't on you to like me.
And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that that's what's attractive. And that's what is going to attract
Damn, she
you.
called me fun. That's crazy.
No. I was saying though, like,
damn, the ladies love me though. Ladies' choice. No,
that's what's going to attract you to the right type of people. You want men want emotionally available women, again, who create that space for them to be vulnerable, because we know that it's a lot easier for women to be vulnerable, but it's not always that way. But if you have that confidence and you have that ambiance,
and that's leadership
you attract the right type of people.
That's leadership. A lot of people, again, I get so pissed about social media. It's a lot of followers.
Oh yeah.
Even you're following. What makes you think, okay, a rapper, my favorite artist, I'm gonna follow them just because they're good at their artistry? That makes them a follower in your life.
They got money. That's what it is.
And you don't even actually know their real life.
Exactly.
So it's like
everybody's money driven.
And it's deeper for me. I ramble a lot, whatever. But it's like, I thought of this earlier in the gym. This is totally different anyways. But it's like, you can really start your day better when you're grateful and tangibly grateful. Like I write every morning what the things that I'm grateful for. And a lot of times I hate them damn commercials. Like, in Africa, for 50 cents you can buy this kit. Because for me, it's like, people think, you should be grateful because you have more than that person. But it's like, whatever you think is perceived as great, like whatever.
What's worth being grateful for.
Yeah, it's like, I'm grateful for my life and my experience. I'm not grateful connected to somebody else, because it's like, that's where you get your self-esteem from. You're always going to be comparing. So shit, like.
Exactly.
So it's like, be grateful for your breathing. Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah,
I always say that, we kind of talked before the cameras were rolling about how this whole podcast, there's nothing that's like money isn't the driving force for this podcast whatsoever. I genuinely feel like no matter who says what, again, like with social media, if you don't have a high-rise apartment and you don't have your hair done every week, like none of that affects me, because I know where I come from and I know what my life could have been. Yeah. Thank God it wasn't. And I have a roof over my head. I pay 100% of my own bills. I am able to do things of leisure that I want when I want. So that's perfectly fine for me. And I always say, like, I guess the long-term goal for me with this whole podcast isn't necessarily to be rich and famous, which is a misconception that a lot of y'all have. It's not that. If I can do this full time, God willing, if this is what he wants me to be doing, and I'm able to live the same exact lifestyle that I'm living right now, I don't have to clock into a 9 to 5, I'm satisfied. But for me, I would challenge that, because it's like, why not be famous? For me, it's like social media, everything is looked at. You shouldn't be famous. You wouldn't. Shit, why not? If anybody's going to be famous, why not somebody with a good message, a child of God, somebody that's the right things? Like, yeah. I do want to be famous because it means like my impact is touching a lot of people. Right. But it's like, the way that I can put this is, I know that it comes with the territory, because I have a good relationship with God and he showed me what it is. So this thing taking off and me notoriety and the money, it's gonna come.
Yeah.
But my driving force is not that, and that's why I'm like, I gotta keep on that kick. Like, I feel like I am serving God by doing this podcast. Like, this is what He wanted me to do. He provided me the resources. I said I want to do a podcast, and Brian fell in my lap and got this whole thing together. And first episode, we're going viral. We're doing numbers. We're getting followers. So it's like, I'm serving and I'm reaping the benefits of it, and that comes with like the fame and the money, but that is definitely not my driving force. It's like one of those things where it's like, and I think, like I was telling you earlier, I feel like that's why a lot of people, especially in our generation, fall off, because they see money and they automatically connect that with success or happiness. And it's like, as long as I maintain my relationship with God and He keeps me kept and He says, okay, you got to get in front of this camera and do this every week. If I don't see results in the next year, or big results, whatever people deem as successful in the next year or in the next 2 years, it's what He's telling me to do. So I got to keep doing it. You know?
And it's like, literally, your steps are
5 minutes.
Your steps are strengthened in the path that you go, and it doesn't matter about what anybody else thinks. It's your step, your journey, your vision is different than anybody else's. It's like you, and it's to the thing of, worrying about what people think. You know what you've been through. You know what how you
where
feel,
you came from.
Exactly, and you're charging in what you want to do. That's what makes it beautiful. So.
Okay, so y'all, this conversation is getting really good, but y'all are gonna have to come back for part 2 next week.